students, welcome back. This is Taurus. How are you? Are you doing okay? Is your family okay? Remember, if you need anything, please send me an email so that I can help in whatever way I can. So lucky you, you get to hear my voice for another lecture. But the best part is we will continue to work on our final project in small videos. Yay! This is the third video in a series of videos that will help you get through the final statistics project. In yesterday's video, we started to review the original set of data that was provided to you for the analysis. Before we did anything, any cleaning or any reorganization of the data, we went ahead and looked at it and we documented the number of variables, cases, and observation that was in the set. And we started to begin to trace what we were going to do with the set once we started the cleaning. After we took a look at the data, we made a copy and put it in a fresh Excel sheet so that we could keep the original set to the side if we ever needed to go back and refer to it. So let's go ahead and go back and look at the instructions. The next part we were at, they were asking us to delete all the variables that are not relevant for our question. For example, if you're studying rental values in Illinois for January 2014 and February 2014, then you should delete data for all the other states and dates. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. We've got our data saved. We can move forward. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my spreadsheet and have it fill up my whole screen. I'm going to go ahead and click Save real quick and make sure that everything is saved. So now it's saved. Now I have this data that I can start working with. And I told you before that I'm going to work with California and the months of January 2014 and January 2015. But all this other data can go. So here's my plan. Now you can do this in either order, but I'm going to decide to do it this way. I'm going to use Excel and I'm going to do the following. First, I'm going to delete all the other states except California. Excel has some really cool ways that you can do this very easily. Next, I'm going to delete all the other months except January 2014 and January 2015, which are the 2 months I want to compare. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by using the filters and special selections. So I've got to do a few things. So first thing I can do is I can start filtering this. And I want to go ahead and I can click here on the ribbon where it says sort and filter, and you'll see that these little arrows will pop up here. So here I am in our copy of the original set, and let's think about what I'm going to do. I want to get rid of everything except the California values. Okay, that's what I want to delete. And I can delete it for good, right? Because I've already made a copy of the original data set so that if I just do something that's just too confusing or did something really wrong down the line, I can always just go back and start over. It's never good to start over, but you have sort of like a safety net so that if things get too crazy, you can always go back and do this again. Let's think what I want to do. I want everything except California to be deleted. So notice again here we have the drop-down buttons that will allow us to filter things. And if I go over to state and I hit that drop-down button, you'll see that there's these little tiny check marks and it has all the states here. And remember, I want to delete everything except California. So I want to choose or select everything except California. So I'm going to click on the California button so that everything except California will show up. Hit OK and let it think. And notice here there are some empty spots. There's not too many because it seems like there's a lot of values besides California. But if you look over here, you'll start to see that there are some areas where there's a missing value. Like here, for example, here it goes 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 77. So there's a missing value in through here that was a California value. Okay, so I want to select all of this and get rid of everything except California. And I can do that a special way. So I can click on the very top left cell that I want to delete. So I don't want to click on city because I want to keep the headers. I want to click on this very top left cell. And I can do my little trick where I hit Control Shift right arrow so that it'll select everything in the top row. And then go ahead and you can do Control Shift down arrow and it will take you all the way down to the very last row. So I've selected everything that's there that's showing up. Now, if I were to go ahead and delete now, I would also delete California. So I have to do it a special way. And the way to do this is to go up to Find Select, then go to Special, and you'll see where it says Visible Cells Only. That's what I want to click on and hit OK. So what is this thing doing? This thing is only choosing the cells that I can see as the target for a particular action. Okay, so whatever I do now, it's only going to affect the cells that I see. And click OK. So what do I want to do now? Now I want to delete everything that I can see. Okay, the California cells won't be affected by this action because I'm only targeting the cells I can see. So I can go ahead and right click and then go down where it says delete rows, delete row, and it says delete entire sheet row. Okay. And this thing's going to look like entirely empty. You're going to be like, where's all my data? Oh no. But let's look over here where it says state. Now where it says state, see how that little filter looks a little bit different than these? That means that a filter is applied. So if I click on that little filter, look, I can click on California and it says select all. California is the only thing left. So when I click OK, there's all my California values. I only have California values for that. Isn't that cool? Okay, so the next thing I need to do is I need to delete all the months. And I can do that pretty easily. I want January 2014 and I want January 2015. So I can click on that column and select everything to the right of that column. And right click and delete. And you'll see that here I have January 2014 and January 2015. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Now I need to delete everything to the right of that because these are the 2 months that I want to save. I'm going to go ahead and highlight those yellow. These are the 2 months that we decided to use. We wanted California, January 2014, California, January 2015. So everything to the right of these yellow cells can be deleted. So I can click on that column and I can just select the whole column by clicking on the E. Again, do our little trick where we do Control Shift right and it'll select everything to the right of that whole entire column. Right click, delete, and I'm left with just what I need. So now that we've cleaned the data, I'm just going to rearrange this so that it's all evenly spaced and everything. And let's see what we've got here. Okay, so we want to go ahead and go back to our little documentation after we've cleaned the data and see what we're left with. So we need to know how many values we have in January 2014, how many values we have for January 2015. And you notice that some of these are empty, and we're going to talk about that in a second. I'll cover that in just a minute. So let's first look at how many we have for January 2014, remembering that this first header will need to subtract. We have the numerical count is 374. We have to subtract 1 because our header has a number. So we can say for January 2014, there are 373 values. Okay. And for January 2015, same thing. We want to look at this and it says 493, but we've got to subtract 1. So we have 462 values. Perfect. So now we can go back to our instructions and see what we need to do. So here are my instructions. All the gray is what I have finished, and I think we're done with this. Delete all variables that are not relevant to your question. For example, if you're studying rental values in Illinois, for January 2014 and February 2014, then you should delete all the data for the other states and dates. We did that. So I'm going to go ahead and cross that out. Okay. Now it says check your data for missingness. For example, if some of the cells are blank, how will you address this issue? Well, let's think about when we need to worry about missingness. We need to worry about missingness if we're doing something that is a pair comparison. So if we're going to be doing something like a regression analysis, then we have to have the same amount of values for one variable as we do to the other variable. And when we looked at this originally, it talks about conducting a preliminary regression analysis with 2 date variables. So I have to have the same amount of values for January 2014 than I do for January 2015. If I did not have to worry about a pair comparison, then I would be fine. You don't need equal sample sizes to proceed with statistical testing. But in this case, because they need a regression analysis, we're going to need that. So I'm going to go back to my little notes and type in that equal sample sizes will be needed because a regression analysis must be performed. Okay, again, I'm making my notes now so that it's much easier to write later. Okay, so we're going to deal with missing values. And we've decided that unless the case has both a January 2014 value and a January 2015 value, then we're going to go ahead and delete it. So with the filters, we still can do this very, very easily. I'm going to start with January 2014. So what I'm going to do is click on the filter before, and I'm going to go way down in the bottom, and you notice at the bottom it'll say blanks, okay? And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to deselect everything and then select blanks, okay? And it will give me all the values where 2014 is blank. Do you see how many there are? There's tons. And some of them still have values for 2015, but we're not going to be able to use those. So what I can do here is the same thing I did before. I'm going to go ahead and select all these by using my little trick, Control-Shift-Right, and then also Control-Shift-Down, and it's selecting everything on the sheet. I'm going to go back to Find Select, go to Special, and I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I want to select only the cells that I can see. Remember, these are ones where the 2014 rental values are blank. There is no data for those cases. So I'm going to click Visible Cells Only, OK. And then I'm going to do the same thing, OK. I'm going to right-click over the area that I have selected, go down to Delete Row. It'll give me a pop-up, and I will delete everything. Remember, everything will seem like it's gone, but don't panic because we have the filter, and when we select all, we'll see everything that's left here. We're going to repeat the process with the January 2015 values. So I'm going to go down to that one, unselect everything or deselect everything, and click on blanks. And now it will give me all the values where 2015 has no data. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. Click on the top left cell and then click Control-Shift-Right so that I have everything off to the right. Control-Shift-Down, and it's going to select everything that's left there. Okay? Now that I've selected this, again, I don't want to get rid of the stuff that I can't see because those are the ones that are good. So I'm just going to get rid of the ones that I can see. Just the cases where 2015 is blank. So I'm going to go back up to Find and Select. Go to Special. Again, I just want to click on the stuff I can see. Visible Cells Only. Okay. And then I'm going to hover over it, right-click, delete row, and everything will disappear. Now, don't freak out, because once you select everything again, you're going to see that you have data for January 2014 and January 2015. Now, if I did this correctly, I should have the same number of values in the column for January 2014 than I do for January 2015. And let's see how many that is. So I'm going to go back down here, and remembering that I have to subtract 1, I have a numerical count of 243, so that means I have 342 values. And I have here for January 2015 the same number. I have 343 numerical count minus 1 for the header row, and that is 342 total sample size. So now we're going to go back to our notes and write down what we did. So I'm just going to go here and say that all cases that were missing either the January 2014 or January 2015 observations were deleted. The final sample contained 342 cases for each of the date variables. Okay, so now we have that information, and we're going to go ahead and save. And we're going to always make sure that we save our Excel sheet, because God forbid anything happens to that now. Now, remember, we still have the original data set that we haven't touched. So if something would have gone wrong, you could always just start over by going here. But now we have really nice data that is fresh and ready to go. Going back to the directions, there's some more that we can mark off. We can mark off this whole section where we check the data for missingness, and we decided how we were going to address this issue. I'm going to go ahead and mark that as done. And then the next part says, write a paragraph on the changes you made to the spreadsheet and why. How did you obtain this data? How many original variables were there? Why did you delete some of the data? How many missing values were there? And how did you deal with the issue? How many variables and cases remained for the analysis? And if we look at our notepad, we already have a lot of that information already. So this is a really good time to stop. Next video, we'll start writing up this section. So what's the big idea? Today's big idea is keep your original data set safe. Make yourself a working copy, and from that, delete everything you don't need from the working copy for your analysis. As you do this, make sure you continue to document all your changes. So that's it for today. With that said, don't forget to check your emails, check Blackboard, do your homework, and subscribe to this channel. Even better, hit that notification bell so you know when there are new videos for this course. Okay, this is your teacher Torres saying stay safe, and I will be waiting to give you a virtual elbow bump in the next video. Ciao!